Hi, and welcome to That's Ruddy Mysterious, a podcast of short tales about true mysteries. What happened to the Flannan Isles Lightkeepers? Who was responsible for the Gardner Museum heist? I'm not going to solve those mysteries, but they'll be interesting to learn about. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. Transcripts for all episodes can be found at that'sruddymysterious.wordpress.com. No apostrophe and no exclamation point. Today's tale is about the Mothman. On November 12, 1966, some grave diggers saw a giant creature flying overhead. It was moving quickly from tree to tree, and the grave diggers described it as a brown human being. Between November 15, 1966 and December 15, 1967, numerous people saw the Mothman. One time, 2 volunteer firemen saw what they described as a large bird with red eyes. On November 16, 1966, the Point Pleasant Register ran a story titled, "Couple See Man-Sized Bird, Creature, Something." Steve Mallett, Roger Scarberry, and their wives Mary and Linda had been out driving the night before. It was around midnight when they saw a giant bird-like creature with bright red eyes. The eyes were about 6 inches apart. The bird had a huge wingspan of about 10 feet. It was trying to avoid their headlights. Steve Mallett said of the creature, "It was like a man with wings. It wasn't like anything you'd see on TV or in a monster movie." The creature was standing right in front of their car. They said it was a bird or something. It definitely was not a flying saucer. The couple swore they were not drinking. The couples tried to drive away, but the creature gave chase, hovering over their car. It was said the creature could fly up to 100 miles per hour. Sheriff deputies went to the site around 2 a.m. to investigate, but the creature was long gone. The Mothman had eyes that glowed red when lights were on them, sort of like when you take a picture of a person with the flash on. It also didn't seem to like light much at all. Witnesses said the Mothman looked like a man with wings, but without a notable head. They said it didn't look much like a bat, more like an angel. It was often sighted near the vacant power plant, so people thought that must be where it lived. They said it could fly 100 miles per hour, but was a clumsy runner. All of these sightings intrigued prominent journalist Bill Geist, and after meeting the people who claimed to have seen the Mothman, he said they were not the type of people to make this up. He called their credibility unquestionable. The community of Point Pleasant really embraced the sightings. They erected a statue of the Mothman, built a museum dedicated to it, and also have an annual festival to celebrate the Mothman. What was the Mothman? Was he an elaborate hoax? Is this all the result of mass hysteria? The Mason County Sheriff at the time of the sightings believes that what people were seeing was a large heron. These herons have red eyes when light is shined on them. Wildlife biologist Robert L. Smith thinks the sightings and descriptions fit that of a sandhill crane. The sandhill crane is almost as tall as a man with a 7-foot wingspan. It has reddish coloring around its eyes. He says this area is not a part of the sandhill crane's normal migration pattern, so it's not surprising that it wasn't easily identified as the crane. American skeptic Joe Nichols says the sightings were of barred owls. These owls have eyes that glow red when light is reflected on them also. Some consider the Mothman to be a harbinger of doom. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge, which connects Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Gallipolis, Ohio, collapsed during rush hour traffic. 46 people lost their lives. Some witnesses to the collapse claim to have seen the Mothman present at the collapse. In 1999, there was a bombing of an apartment building in Russia. A Russian ufologist claimed to have seen the Mothman present before the explosion. Sometime after the 13 months during which the Mothman was sighted around Point Pleasant, West Virginia, it was claimed that hundreds of people witnessed the Mothman but were afraid to report the sightings. Between 2017 and 2018, 55 sightings of the Mothman were reported in and around Chicago. What exactly did Steve Mallett, Roger Scarberry, and their wives see on the night of November 16, 1966? What is this giant creature? Is it a harbinger of doom? Is it all an elaborate hoax? Is it mass hysteria? What do you think? Thanks for listening to today's episode of That's Ruddy Mysterious. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. Tune in next Tuesday for another thought-provoking tale.